Hello, my fellow Beatles fans. Of course, most of you know there was a last track released some time ago. Paul McCartney and Ringo were working on it, if I understand correctly, but it was too much information, too much music, too much vocals missing, if I understand correctly. But they managed to release the song now and then. And I made a lot of you suggested to watch the documentary. And if you understand, Peter Jackson was involved. He did some movie called Lord of the Rings or something. So let's find out. I had a lot of they used all kind of different technology to make this. I must admit, I'm curious. So let's watch this. It's 12 minutes and 24 seconds. So let's enjoy the things they can do. I last saw incredible what we could do with the vocals. I have seen a video when Frank Sinatra was singing Master of Puppets of Metallica. Freddie Mercury song he did a song by System of a Down. It's absolutely amazing what with latest technology what they can achieve. They can use every singer that they can use every singer that has ever lived and make her or him sing any song. It doesn't matter. We live in strange times. Also very good times. 3, 2, 1.
2, take 1, silent turnover. Are you ready, Ringo?
Maybe Gollum will make a cameo. Same joke I made last time.
Is it in, really?
Ringo! George is tuned up.
Oh, hey there. John.
I'm ready to sing it to the world. I hope we pass the audition.
What chords are we going?
What did it sound like with the bass doing a funny thing? Keep that one. Mark it fab.
Making good music in a band is all about chemistry. The way our 4 very different personalities combined in the Beatles was something very special. When we lost John, we knew that it was really over. But in 1994, amazingly, an interesting opportunity arose. We could make more music together.
If we were to do something, the three of us, as interesting as it may be, to have John in it is the obvious thing. I was talking to Yoko, and she said, I think I've got a tape of John.
We were pretty excited. A new John song. Amazing.
To hear John's voice, that's the thing that we should cherish. And I'm sure he would have really enjoyed that opportunity to be with us again.
We could use John and try and make a record. It was the closest we'll ever come to having him back in the room.
I do remember living at the Dakota with Dad and Mom. There's this impression that my dad stopped doing music for a while to raise me, which I think is partially true in terms of him not touring and not fulfilling any major record label obligations. But he was always playing music around the house. He was always making demos, and I do remember him recording into these tape cassette recorders. Mom had these handful of songs that my dad hadn't finished, and she gave them to the other Beatles.
George and Ringo came down to my studio.
Nice day. Oh, fabulous day, then.
We listened to the track. There's John in his apartment in New York City, banging away at his piano, doing a little demo. Is it something we shouldn't do? Every time I thought like that, I thought, wait a minute. Let's say I had a chance to ask John, hey, John, would you like us to finish this last song of yours?
He would have said yes.
I'm telling you, I know the answer would have been, yeah, he would have loved that.
It was very strange when we started that there's only 3 of us after all those years and all that life.
John, really excited. You want to put the kettle on?
We did Freeze a Bird and Real Love, and we got a little bit of time left to do Now and Then.
I can remember when they
we
released Free
started
as a
Now and
Bird.
It was very difficult
In the
because
90s.
John was
I
sort
remember
of
that.
hidden in a way.
In John's demo tape, the piano was a little hard to hear. And in those days, of course, we didn't have the technology to do the separation.
You know, that's computer stuff. You know, I was telling you a year ago, Jeff was doing this thing on his computer, but it opens up a whole other kettle of fish.
Can of worms.
As to
But will it open another year of work?
It really brought to
Can
the
of fish.
fore to the 3 of us that John's gone.
Every time we wanted a little bit more of John's voice, this piano came through and clouded the picture. I think we kind of ran out of steam a bit and time, and it was like, well, I don't know, maybe we'll leave this one.
okay,
See you next week.
Next year.
Now and Then just kind of languished in a cupboard. And then in 2001, we lost George, which kind of took the wind out of our sails. It took almost a quarter of a century for us to wait until the right moment to tackle Now
it's
and
almost
Then
25
again.
years ago. Wow. Yellow Submarine.
With the technology that Peter Jackson and his team had worked out during the Get Back movie, he'd been able to separate off certain instruments and voices.
During the course of Get Back, we were paying a lot of attention to the technical restoration. That ultimately led us to develop a technology which allows us to take any soundtrack and split all the different components into separate tracks based on machine learning.
Peter Jackson has the Mal machine that can just lift anything.
We thought, well, we better send John's voice to them off the original cassette.
My dad would have loved that because he was never shy to experiment with recording technology. I think it's really beautiful.
They said, this is the sound of John's voice. A few seconds later, or however long it took, and there it was, John's voice, crystal clear.
I know it's true.
Wow.
It's all because of you. And if I make it through, it's all because
I'm getting goosebumps.
of you.
Since Peter took John off and gave him his own track,
Peter Jackson is
it's
so
like
versatile.
John's there, you know, it's far out.
Lord of the Rings and
Totally
Get Horror
amazed.
and
we could lift
documentaries.
John's voice without lifting the piano, which had always been one of the problems. Now we could mix it and make a proper record of it. I pulled it out, had a listen to it, and thought, oh, I could actually do the bass a bit better, so why don't I start there?
Paul called me up and said he'd like to work on Now and Then. What do you think? I think it's great. So he put the bass on, he sent the files to me, I put the drums on.
It really brought it on, you know, and so now we had a track that was really starting to cook. I've been vaguely thinking strings might be a good thing. The Beatles did lots of string things, you know, Strawberry Fields, Yesterday, I'm the Walrus. We wanted to go to Capitol Studios because that had been EMI and it was sort of Beatle-y.
That you're prepared to do so much work for one song. It's very telling.
Giles's dad would
So
have
much
done
passion,
in the
you know.
old days. We had to put the music out on the stands for the musicians, but we couldn't tell them it was a new Beatles song. It was all a bit hush-hush. We pretended it was just something of mine.
Need to know basis.
On the new record, there's a guitar solo. We had kept George's guitar parts from '95, and I thought what I'd like to do is do a slide guitar solo in George's style. It was really a tribute to George. And then we started mixing it. Wow. This is it. Now it's a Beatle record.
1, 2.
It was incredibly touching to hear them working together after all the years that my dad had been gone.
I know it's true.
It's the last song that my dad and Paul and George and Ringo will get to make together.
Just the title alone, Now and Then, is so fitting. Almost like it was meant to be.
All of those memories come flooding back. My God, how lucky was I to have those men in my life and to work with those men so intimately and to come up with such a body of music. To still be working on Beatles music in 2023, wow. We're actually messing around with state-of-the-art technology, which is something the Beatles would have been very interested in. Now and Then, it's probably like the last Beatles song, and we've all played on it, so it is a genuine Beatle recording. I'll tell you what, why don't you just give me a little bit of his original demo, just sort of hear how he's playing the piano.
That part could be played on like another thing.
Bring up and play on this drum. Okay.
Yeah, tune tom-toms.
Yeah.
We'll come in after this.
Yeah, and I'm thinking verse 3 could be like the intro again, you know?
Start again.
When are we ever going to get to sleep?
Now, that's a good question.
No rest for the wicked.
D.I.N.
Wow,
son.
really
Do you
impressive.
wanna do it now?
Go on then, back it up a bit.
Can I just hear John's then?
Wow. Very entertaining and informative as well. As I said, the technology available today, it makes so much possible. And again, when they isolated his voice, was wow. I really got goosebumps. That was something else. Who would have thought this would happen? Again, with the technology, with how they can mimic those. it's not the real thing, but how they can mimic voices and put it into one voice in another in different genre. As I said, when you Frank Sinatra singing Metallica, absolutely hilarious. And now they can do, okay, this isolate the voice, make it more clear, more crispy. Wonder what will happen next in our lifetime. I love the passion they were playing with this today for so long, and now that it's technologically possible, and I released absolutely great track. Again, not the world's biggest Beatles fan, but I learned to appreciate him a lot more in the last couple of years. To witness this, it's really quite something. In one track, you've seen how many people are working on this. One track, one song. Project of passion. Makes it all worthwhile. Legendary. I enjoyed this documentary very, very much. And of course Paul McCartney's still touring. He's like 80 or something. In Mick Jagger, I think they found the fountain of eternal youth. That's not entirely true, of course, but I'm convinced it keeps them young. I think that life like this, it's all they know. That's where they were born for. Incredible, entertaining, informative. Loved watching this. Hope you guys agree with me. Let me know. I think there are a couple of Beatles fans out there watching this. Quite sure. Thanks so much, my friends. Have a great upcoming week. It's already December. How time flies. See you soon. Bye bye.